Alright everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel at Illumination of NG. In today's class, I'm going to be taking you overhead costing, and we are going to be looking at the algebraic method. This video is in response to the request of some of my students who are really finding it difficult to apply the algebraic or simultaneous equation method to apportioning overhead to the various production centers. Okay, so today I'm going to read out a question that you all can listen to, especially those who are following me on YouTube, those who want to learn cost accounting and financial accounting, and those who are my students too, so you can all follow and we can solve this question together. So now the question says that Adibowale Nigeria Limited, a manufacturer of electronic items, has been in production. It has 2 production departments as well as 2 service centers. Okay, the production department A was allocated a cost of 5 million naira, and department B was allocated a cost of 2,500,000. Now, service cost centers, the following service cost centers have the following costs. Service cost center 1 has 200,000 naira cost incurred. Service cost center 2 has 300,000 naira cost incurred. And we were told in the question that what to apportion to cost center 1, that is the cost of cost center 1, we have to apportion 30% of that cost to the production center A and 50% of the cost to production center B, and also allocate service cost center 2 20% of the remaining cost. Okay, now for service cost center 2, we have to apportion 40% to production center A and apportion 30% to production center B, and also the remaining 30% to service cost center 1. So let us write that down mathematically, and let us see how we're going to solve that and convert that to simultaneous equation. So let us go ahead. Based on the question that we have, we're talking about, so I'll try as much as possible to cover within 15 minutes. So overhead costing. So we have Adibowale Nigeria Limited. Okay, so we have the production centers so with the cost of for A we have 5 million, so let this be in thousand. For B we have 2,500,000. So the service cost center 1, we have 200,000, and for service cost center 2 we have 300,000. Okay, so we're told, we're given the ratios by which we are to apportion, okay, these various costs. Okay, so we are to apportion 30% to A, to production center A. That is, we are to apportion based on the following, that is A, B, service cost center 1 and 2. We are to apportion service cost center 1, we are to give A 30% of the cost should go to A, 50% of the cost should go to B, and the remaining 20% to go to service cost center 2. And for service cost center 1, cost center 2, we are told in the question that 40% should be apportioned to A, and 30% to be apportioned to B, and the remaining 30% to be apportioned to service cost center 1. So now we're going to convert this to simultaneous equation by saying that what? So let us go ahead and do the workings. Okay. Let service cost center 1 equals to X and service cost center 2 equals to Y. So in the question we're given a total figure, X equals to what? The total cost of X is what? 200. So we can put it in 1,000. Okay. If you put 200,000, it's the same thing. You're going to arrive at the same answer. Plus, so we have 0.30 of Y. Okay, is what we have here for service cost center 1. That is 30% of Y should also go to service cost center 1. Okay, and for Y, which is service cost center 2, the total cost that we have here is 300,000 naira plus, and 20% of service cost center 1 should go toward service cost center 2, which is 0.2%, okay? 0.2x or 20x, any of the two, okay? 30% is 0.30. So let us move on, okay? Now we have equation 1 and 2, equation 1, 2, okay? So let us now rearrange this. So when plus comes down here, it becomes minus. It becomes minus. That will be now x minus 0.30y or 3y equals to 200, okay? And y minus 0.20x equals to 300, okay? So let us go ahead and further rearrange. Let's further rearrange this. So let's further rearrange this equation. That is x minus 0.30y equals to 200. And this will now be minus 0.20x plus, because when y comes down here, it becomes negative, and when it comes back here, it becomes positive, plus y equals to 300. So the next thing for us is to eliminate. We have to eliminate either of y, eliminate y or x, okay? So let us go ahead and find a way to eliminate that, okay? So by what? We will multiply 1 by this, with this, and multiply 0.3 with this so that we can eliminate y, okay? So we're going to have 1x minus 0.30y equals to 200. Remember, it's in 1,000, okay? We also have minus 0.06, right? So we have minus 0.06 minus 0.06 minus 0.06. So that will be because we have the plus sign. We have the plus sign here. And 0.06 0.3 times 0.20. 0.3 times 0.20. So let us multiply that and get the answer coming. Let me use my calculator. That should be 0.06. So 0.3 multiplied by 0.20. So that's 0.06. Okay, that is right. 0.066 plus 0.3y equals to 90. 0.3 times 300 will give us 90, okay? So we have, if we are to introduce the plus sign here, okay? So minus 0.30 plus 0.30, which is what? This is 0. So 1 minus 0.06 now. 1 minus 0.06 should give us 0.94, okay? That should be 0.94. That is 1 plus minus 0.06, okay? 1 minus 0.06. That is 0.94x, okay? This x. This is 0.94x equals to, the plus sign is here, 290, okay? So x equals to 290 divided by 94, 0.94. So let us go ahead and do that. That is 290 divided by 0.94. 94, okay? We have, that is 308. So let me move that up a bit so we can see clearly. So this is equals to 290 over 0.94, okay? So we are left with what? 308.51. So we can say approximately this will be 309, okay? So good. So now the next thing is for us to substitute into equation. Let's say this is equation 1. This is equation 2, okay? So this should be equation 3. and equation 4. So let's say substitute equation 3, okay? Equation 3. Okay, so in equation 3 we have x or 1x minus 0.30y equals to 200. Okay, so now that we know x is what? 1309 minus 0.30y equals to 200. Okay, so 309 minus, so when the minus 200 comes there, positive 200 comes down here, becomes minus 200, and minus 0.30y, when it comes down, it becomes 0.30y. Okay, so we're now left with 109 equals to 0.30y. Y equals to 109 divided by 0.30. So what is our y? So our y now equals to 109 divided by 0.30. So at the end of the day, we have 363.33. Okay, so approximately it should be 363,000. Okay, so it's in thousand. Don't forget that it's in thousand. Is this also in thousand? Okay, it's in thousand. So at the end of the day, we have our y and our x. Okay, so now let us go back to the question. Okay, so we have the figures, we have our production, so our cost. So for production center A, so production center, so we have A as 5 million, as 5 million. We have B as 2,500,000. So for service cost center 1 now, we now have that is 380 or 308. Let me check that again. That is 309. 309, okay, 309. That is now 309. 309. And service cost center 2. Service cost center 2 is 36. What? So let me check that again. 363. Okay, 360. 360. So at the end of the day, we've been able to get the total cost for service cost center 1 and that for service cost center 2. Okay, so at the end of the day, we have 309 for service cost center 1, which is the total cost, and using the simultaneous equation or algebraic method, and SC2 equal to 363. Okay, for that is the cost, total cost for X service cost center 2. So the next thing for us to do is to now apportion. To now apportion, so we say cost, allocation. You can call this allocation and apportion. Allocation and apportionment sheet. Okay, sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So maybe we can do that before the time goes. So we have production centers. We have A and B. Okay, we have A and B, and we have the total figure. Total also. This should be a naira sign. Put a naira sign there. Take this off. Naira sign. Okay. Allocated cost. We have 5 million, 2.5 million. So at the end of the day, we have a total of 7.5 million. So for service cost center 1, we have to give A from the question 30%. That is for A, 30% of 309. Okay. B, we receive 50%. 50% of 309. Okay. So for service cost center 2, A will receive 40% of 363, and B will receive 30% of 363. Okay, so by doing this, you're going to get up. So let us do the calculation. 0.3 times 309. Okay, this one for A, this will be 92.7 or approximately 93. 93 for, so that's for A, not B. So that's 93